right now we're seeing a lot of damage control from the Final Fantasy fanboys. A lot of them are coming out trying to justify why Pikmin 4 has outsold Final Fantasy 16. They're trying to like say all kinds of things about like the Switch hardware sales and like Nintendo's dominance in Japan and how like the global market is gonna catch up or like something. They're basically just throwing everything at the wall and trying to find something that sticks. But what they just aren't admitting is that like it really shouldn't have been close at all. The difference in budget between Final Fantasy 16 and Pikmin 4 is astronomical, right? Final Fantasy 16 should have destroyed it in sales, not only in Japan but worldwide. But instead, Pikmin has stayed relatively competitive and it has actually outsold Final Fantasy 16 in Japan. And of course, when you look at like games like the success of games like Tears of the Kingdom, which have outsold it worldwide, and like everything else that's going on, like it's pretty clear that like Square Enix has taken a massive L. Right, the support for PlayStation has completely blown up in their face, and now they're in a position where they very well may be forced to acknowledge that their blind support of PlayStation is a mistake. They very well may be forced to acknowledge that maybe they need to go back and like go back to the drawing board and like make a Final Fantasy game that people actually want to play. But like right now, right now, the shills are going on full damage control mode. Like people like Max Dude are making videos like saying like, oh, at least it's better than Final Fantasy 15. You have guys like, trying to say that like, oh man, they should have stripped away more of the RPG elements. They should have made it a pure action game. You have guys who are just like just coming up with like all sorts of like crazy ideas and solutions and trying to damage control Square Enix. And I have to wonder like what's the mindset behind this? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish by shilling for Square Enix? Now, I'd like you to all to remember that like Max Dude did this for Final Fantasy VII-R as well, where he came out and like seriously tried to say it's like one of his favorite games of the year or like something like that. Like it was everything he wanted in a remake, even though like real fans like myself shit all over like the episodic content, the padding, the focus on Midgar, the new characters, like the retcons, the ending like doesn't go anywhere. Like there were so many things wrong with Final Fantasy VII-R. It was very difficult for me to believe that any real genuine fan would come away with a positive experience. But like, people like Angry Joe, people like Max Dude, like these guys came out and like, oh man, this is one of the best games of the year. Like this is like playing a Netflix anime, right? A damn good one at that. And then like, you wait a year and you kind of like see where things are at, and like it really feels as if like in spite of that massive shilling campaign, Final Fantasy VII-R like completely killed all interest in the brand. Nobody cares about Part 2. Nobody cares about like Final Fantasy 16. Nobody cares about anything else Square Enix is putting out. Like they are a dying company. They completely alienated their core audience that simply wanted to play a new Final Fantasy game in order to chase after like the dude bro audience, in order to try and like get people to like buy, oh, we turned Final Fantasy into Call of Duty, so why don't you come out and play this? Call of Duty fans. They're trying to pull COD numbers, right? They're trying to casualize the experience to appease these kind of people. But like what they don't understand, what they'll never understand, is that Call of Duty players only play COD, right? Madden players only play Madden. Like, GTA players only play GTA. Like, these people will never migrate off of their preferred game because they really don't care about games to begin with, right? So essentially, Square Enix alienated their core audience of fans to try and get the mass market, and they completely failed. And they've been doing this for, uh, I don't know, like 5 years, maybe, probably longer than that. They've been making strides to do this for longer, but like it's gotten really bad over the past 5 years or so, to the point where like I honestly can't imagine that anybody has any faith in them at all. Like it feels like the big thing with this situation in regards to Square Enix is that like more and more people are realizing that like wow, they are not going to learn. They are not going to get better. So I'm just going to take my hard-earned money and buy a real video game. I'm going to buy Pikmin 4. I'm going to buy a real RPG from Nintendo. I'll wait for that Dragon Quest 2D HD remake. Like I'll do anything other than buy Final Fantasy 16 because this isn't what I, as a fan of Final Fantasy, wanted. And I can tell you from experience that I, in this launch window period for a brand new Final Fantasy game, went back and played Final Fantasy 1 for the first time ever. I've been meaning to do it for years, like over 20 years, I would say. I loved it. I had a great time, really enjoyed it. An all-time great RPG. I was really surprised at how well it held up. And I had far more fun with that than I ever would have playing Final Fantasy 16. All I can see right now is that this game that was hyped up as being like the release, like the game that was going to save the PS5 and put like the nail in the coffin for the Switch. It's going to force the next console to come out. It's going to force Nintendo to announce the Switch 2, right? This was supposed to be the game that made the PS5 a success story. But now you're seeing people like push it back. Like, oh man, people are like, just wait until GTA 6. Just wait until like, this or that. Like, just wait for like the next big thing, and like then the PS5 will take off. Then it'll be the biggest thing ever. Then Nintendo will go out of business. And I don't know, like GTA 6, I think in a lot of ways is probably going to be like the last hurrah for PlayStation because like GTA 7 presumably is going to take like what, another decade at least. And like I don't think that the industry is going to be able to take that long. Like I don't think we're in a period where Grand Theft Auto can carry an entire console by itself, right? I know Grand Theft Auto is big. I know, like, degenerates love it, but like when you look at it objectively, like if Grand Theft Auto fans buy one game for their one console, and the average Nintendo fan is buying like 7 or 8, right? Like, Nintendo's gonna win, like overall, right? Like it doesn't matter if like GTA 6 sells like 100 million copies if like games like Animal Crossing New Horizons sell like roughly like half that, right? And then they have like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sell the other half, and then they have like bits and ends with like uh other releases, right? Breath of the Wild sold 30 million, Odyssey sold about that much, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Like, it adds up, is what I'm saying. And it's games that appeal to different people. It's not just like, ooh, it appeals to the mass market. It appeals to a bunch of niche demographics, right? People who like a healthy variety of games. And that is something that PlayStation absolutely will never deliver ever again. They alienated all their creatives. They alienated the third-party developers. They alienated the gamer, the audience, you, and chose this path of casualizing everything, ruining video games, and trying to like pretend as if like they didn't do anything wrong, right? It's not just Square Enix, it's not just Japan, it's not just the gaming industry. It's like everywhere. Like, the dumbing down of everything needs to stop. And Nintendo is the only company that reliably puts out quality gaming for quality gamers.